everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video I have another new launch to share with you all. So today launches the Kiki London new Festive Water Decals and I've been really excited to share these with you. So let's jump in and take a look. Now whenever you order your water decals from Kiki London you will get a easy to follow instruction leaflet. This literally covers everything to help you apply your water decals. So it's fab if you are a beginner. Here we have the new pack of decals. We'll take a look at them in a moment. And then next up, I've got one of the Kiki London double-ended silicone tools. These are a must-have to help apply your water decals and foils. So let's jump in and take a look at the water decals. So first up, we have the delicate baubles. They're a colourful mix and match pack of baubles. Then we have the festive florals. I love how these include a mix of mistletoe and the bow in there as well. Then we've got our abstract trees. These are really simple and minimalist, but I love that lately in nails. Then we've got a Christmas tree mix. So we have 5 traditional Christmas tree designs on here. Then we have the colourful stockings. As you can see, they're super bright and colourful, so they'll make some fun nails. Next up, we have the Festive Decor range. As you can see, they're full of presents, dancing gingerbread men and some baubles. Then we have the sweet festive mix. I love this one. It just makes me feel all warm and cozy with the hot chocolates and the mittens. It's such a cute mix. Then we've got the sweet and spice mix. So we've got some cinnamon on here, some citrus fruits, and then some candy canes. Next up, we've got the festive bows. Now these look so luxurious and I love that they come in some larger and some smaller sizes as well. Then we have the Gingerbread Characters. This is an assorted mix of fun gingerbread designs. Then we've got the blue snowflakes. I love that these look really intricate and delicate. I think they will look beautiful over a white or pale blue base. Then we have the Festive Trees. Now these have a Scandinavian vibe to them and I'd love to do that style set of nails with these. And lastly, we have the Santa hats. How cute are these to add a pop of Christmas to your manicure? So that is the new range of festive water decals. They are all up on the website now, which I will leave linked in the description box below. So let's jump in and do a set of nails where we can use some of those water decals as well as some of the foils that released last week. So on the first nail, I'm going to come in with a base of coconut. Now I find coconut a very highly pigmented white gel polish. So a lot of the time I can get away with only doing one coat of this and that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to pop that first coat in to cure for 30 seconds. And then over the top of the coconut, I'm going to be using the foil gel. I absolutely love this foil gel. It makes applying the foils an absolute doddle. But if you are struggling with applying your foils, do pop me a comment below with what you're struggling with and I'll see if I can help. So I've applied my layer of foil gel and I've popped that in to cure for 30 seconds. Then I'm going to take box 17, which is the Festive Gold mix of foils. Now these are absolutely stunning and I'm really loving these ones at the moment. I just love the vibe they give off and you can create so many different designs with them. So for this one, I wanted the nail to look like wrapping paper. So I went for this foil because it's got lots of little Christmassy images on there. So this is going to create like the base of our wrapping paper. So as you can see, I've placed that down to begin with my thumb and then I'm working from the center outwards using the silicone tool to really rub that down into the tacky foil gel. And then we're going to slowly peel back that foil and look how beautiful it has transferred. It has transferred 100% absolutely perfectly. Now, because I want to do some hand painting over this nail, I'm going to come in and matte top coat. So I'm matte top coating for 2 reasons. I personally find it a little bit easier to hand paint over a matte surface. And for the second reason is I like to seal my foils in before I come in with my next layer of nail art. So that's why I would pop any top coat down before coming in with my next lot of nail art. And just how gorgeous does this foil look matte? It gives off like a embossed satin effect. I absolutely love it. So now for the hand painting, I'm going to take Ruby Red, which was from the recent fall 2021 collection. And although it's a full autumny red, it's perfect for Christmas. It's such a beautiful bright red. And for my painting, I'm going to use my trusty stripe liner brush because I absolutely love this brush. Now, hand painting wise, the design is fairly simple. I want this now to look like a present wrapped up. So we've got that base layer of wrapping paper down, and now we're going to paint on our ribbon, and then we're going to finish off with a bow. So I'm starting off by using that stripe liner brush to create a thin line down the center of the nail. Now, I started off with a thin line just so that I can get a rough idea of where I want my line to be, and then once I'm happy with that, I pop that in for a 10-second flash cure just to freeze it in place so I didn't smudge it. And then I'm just going to thicken that up a little bit. So I'm going to come down one side and basically do another line, and then I'm going to do the exact same on the other side. Now, I'm not great at hand painting. It's definitely something I'm working on, but the stripe liner brush does make this fairly easy because you can allow the brush to do a lot of the work for you. You just kind of need to perfect having a steady hand, and starting out by painting on lines like this is a great way to practice. Don't worry if they're not 100% perfect, because I like to come in and fix them up using the Kiki London angled nail art brush. So the angled nail art brush has a really firm slanted tip. So I've popped some alcohol down onto a lint-free pad, and then I'm just moistening my brush and cleaning up those lines before I pop them into cure. Then I'm going to pretty much do exactly the same, but going across the nail so it looks like the ribbon crossing over. Again, starting off with a thin line just to work out roughly where I want my line to be. And then I'm going to flash cure that, and then I'm just touching it up each side to make that ribbon slightly thicker. I think I only touched it up on one side just because it would have been a bit off center if I'd done both sides. Now that I'm happy with my ribbon, I'm going to come in and add a bow. So of course we're going to use the new Festive Bow Water Decals. So there was lots to choose from, but I picked out my favourite and I've cut it out as close to the image as possible. You want to try and cut off as much of that excess white area as you possibly can. Now, I usually apply my water decals with the stamping method, but I opted for the more traditional method. So I've allowed my water decal to soak in some room temperature water for around 10 seconds, and then I'm just applying it using some tweezers. Now, the stamping method I find a lot easier for applying water decals, but it does work better when you're stamping the water decals over your tacky gel polish, so after you've cured it. Now, where I've done the matte top coat, I haven't got that tacky layer to hold or to grab on to the water decal. So that's why for this video, I've just stuck with the traditional water decal method throughout. Now, once you have got your water decal down in place, you want to make sure you apply a little bit of pressure using your silicone tool just to firmly get that down and make sure that there's no air bubbles or creases. And then I just dabbed off the excess water using a lint-free pad. Then we are ready to come in and top coat. Now, as much as I loved the matte effect over the foil, I really wanted that bow water decal to pop. So I decided to come in with a glossy top coat. So I'm using the Kiki London No Wipe top coat. I'm just going to pop a even layer of this down over the entire nail, and then I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And I really, really loved how the ruby red gel polish and that red bow looked over the gold base. It was one of those nails that how I envisioned it turned out spot on, which very rarely happens. So let's move on to the second nail. Now, on the second nail, I wanted there to be a clear area on the nail. So I'm going to come in and do a layer of the rubber base coat. Now, obviously, if you were working on yourself or a client, you would already have your base coat down because you would have done all your prep and your base coat anyway. But because I'm working on display tips, I'm just going to pop my base layer down only on this nail because it hasn't been necessary on the others. Now that I've cured the rubber base coat, I'm going to come in with coconut again. So I just want half of this nail to be white. So I'm just taking that coconut and I'm trying to draw my section that I want to be white as neat as possible, just using the bottle brush. It was a little bit uneven, so we do come in and fix that up. So what I'm basically going to do is, before curing that, I'm going to take that angled nail art brush again and a lint-free pad with a little bit of alcohol on it, and I'm just going to use that to clean up any of the gel polish that I want to remove. So I had taken it a little bit further down the nail than I wanted it to be, so I'm just removing some of that gel polish and making sure I've got a nice, neat, crisp line. And I find the angled nail art brush so handy for any kind of cleanup. Like I said before, because it's got quite a firm tip, it just removes that gel polish that you want to remove effortlessly. Now, how I had worked on the first part of this nail, I had worked quite thinly, so the coconut did look a little bit uneven. So I decided to come in and do a second coat. But on the second coat, I decided I would use my stripe liner brush first of all to get that nice, neat line. And this was a lot easier way. So I've got my line as neat as I can get it. And then I'm just going to come in with the bottle brush and fill in that area so that we've got a nice, even coat of the white down on the nail. Just being really careful that I don't go over the neat line that I have created. So then this is what our nail looks like so far. So as you can see, we've got half white and half clear, and the clear end is going to end up with a matte frosted effect, so it does look quite pretty at the end. Once I've cured the coconut, I'm going to come in with my foil gel again, but I'm just going to be applying the foil gel to the white area because I only want my foil to go down on the white part of the nail. Now, if you feel as though you're going to get any of the foil on the clear area, then you can remove the tacky layer that's left from the rubber base coat, but I didn't feel like I needed to do that because I knew how I was going to cut and position my foil, it would be fine. So I'm going to be using another one of the foils from the Festive Gold mix. This time, we're going to use this one with like the dangling baubles and angel. I really liked this one and it kind of fitted with the look that I wanted for this nail. So what I've done is I've cut it out so that the bottom part of the foil is the bottom part of all of the baubles, just so it kind of looks appealing to the eye. Then I'm lining that up, being really careful I don't go over on to the clear area. And then I'm going to press down firmly with my thumb and finger and then just start using my silicone tool to rub out any of the creases. You want to make sure that you get out any of those creases or any bubbles so that you get a nice seamless image. So I do like to use a little bit of pressure when I'm doing this step, and then always slowly peeling your foil off so that then if there is any mistakes, you're able to lay it back down and fix up those areas. Then we're going to move on to applying our water decals. So I have cut out this cute Christmas wreath from the Sweet Festive mix. Again, same as before, cutting it out as close to the image as possible, popping it down in my room temperature water, and then I'm just leaving it for around 10 seconds. The video has been slightly sped up. Then I'm taking it out of my tweezers, and as you can see, it slides effortlessly off the backing paper. Then I'm just going to position that down. I want it to slightly overlap that line where the white ends and the clear starts. Then using my silicone tool, I'm going to just position that where I want it to be. And again, same as before, getting out any bubbles or any creases, and also just giving it a firm rub to make sure it has adhered nicely to the nail. It's a little bit hard to see. Oh, you can see it better here over the white background, but I love how it looked against the clear base. Then I'm going to take my Kiki London No Wipe matte top coat, and I want this entire nail to be matte because I love how a clear nail, once you put a matte top coat over it, gives off that frosty effect, which I felt kind of fitted in with the whole winter weather at the moment. So taking that top coat, I'm just going to apply a thin, even layer to the entire nail, and I am kind of floating it on over that water decal just to make sure it fully seals in, because I do usually opt to use my rubber top coat over any kinds of nail art. If you do feel as though you're a little bit worried that you're not using the rubber top coat and your nail art isn't sealed in enough, then you can always do 2 coats of top coat. So you could do 2 coats of the matte top coat. Now, because we have a clear tip and I really want that frosted matte effect, I'm also going to top coat the underside of the nail tip as well, just so it looks super clear but with that frosted effect, if that makes sense. Even if I was doing a glossy top coat, I would do this step as well. And how amazing does this look? I love the clash of the yellow gold against that green and red wreath. On to the third nail, I have already done my base of coconut, again just using 1 coat because it is very pigmented. Then I'm going to come in with my foil gel. Now I'm applying my foil gel to the entire nail, but I'm not going to be applying my foil to the entire nail. I'm just going to be applying my foil in the center, but it worked out better having the foil gel over the entire nail, just so that you get a nice even layer. Sometimes if you just pop the top coat, or the foil gel, sorry, in one area, it can end up looking a bit bumpy and uneven. So I rather just apply a thin layer to the entire nail. Then I've gone for this beautiful gold foil. It's got no pattern or anything on it, but I want it to be a background for a little bit of Nala, or for the water decals actually. So I just went for a plain foil so you can kind of still see the pop of the water decals. Now I've just pressed that down roughly because I just want a splash of the gold. Then taking one of the Kiki London alcohol pads, I'm just going to remove some of the foil that I don't want. I wanted there to still be a few white areas on the nail so I could add some decals around the edges, and just so it looked a little bit more cleaner. And again, we're going to be using the Sweet Festive mix. So I've cut out those cute little mittens and then these little pinky red stars as well. Popping them all into my room temperature water, because it doesn't matter if you leave them in there a little bit too long. I find it easier to just pop them all in if I'm using a couple of decals at a time. But I'm going to start off by taking out the mittens as I'm adding them on the center of the nail. So I've popped them down directly over the foil, and again, because we haven't got that tacky layer from the gel polish, that's why I've used the traditional water decal method. And then I'm able to move them around, get them into position using my silicone tool. Then I'm going to start removing the little stars. Now, sometimes you'll find if you've left your water decals in the water for longer than 10 seconds, the image will remove from the backing paper in the water. That's absolutely fine. You just need to pick up your image. But it didn't happen here, but I just thought I would mention that anyway in case it happens to anyone else and you're not sure what to do. Again, just moving those water decals into place. If you do get any that overhang off the nail, make sure to trim or file them away before top coating. And then we're ready to come in and top coat this nail. I did actually leave the water from the water decals to dry just for a minute or two before coming in to top coat, just to make sure that you're not sealing in any excess water. You can always dab over your water decals as well with a lint-free pad. And that is one of the reasons why I prefer applying the water decals with the stamper method, because you use less water, so you don't have to worry about removing any excess or waiting for it to dry. Anyway, that was design number 3. I really loved how it turned out. I thought it looked super cute. On to design number 4, I'm going to be taking that gorgeous ruby red which we used on the first nail, but I'm going to be doing a full nail of it. And again, it's such a highly pigmented colour that for a nail design like this, I found that one coat was sufficient because it went on beautifully. There's no patchiness or unevenness, so a second coat didn't feel necessary. Popping that in to cure for 30 seconds, and I'm then going to come in with my Kiki London foil gel and apply a thin layer of this to the entire nail. Now, when you are doing a full cover foil nail, you want to make sure you're really getting down those side walls and the very tip of the nail so that you don't end up with any gaps on your edges. And again, I've got another foil from the Festive Gold mix because I kind of wanted all the set to tie in and work together, if that makes sense. So I went for all the foils from the same box. Now, I'd always start off by applying my foils with my thumb or finger just to make sure I can feel that they've got good contact with the nail. And then working from the center outwards, I'm just rubbing out any creases or any bubbles, making sure that there's a super smooth application before I start peeling back my foil. And I find it so satisfying to watch back the removal of the foil, especially when it's on a nail where you get 100% foil coverage. And how gorgeous does this gold foil look over that red base? It gives off full-on festive vibes. Once again, we're going to come in and top coat and then pop our top coat in to cure for 30 seconds. And that, guys, was the final design. So do let me know in the comments below what you think of the new Festive Water Decals, which pack are your favourites, and also comment below and let me know which nail in this set was your favourite. My favourite has to be the first nail. I just loved how it turned out and I'm really fancying a set like that on myself. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, then please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscription button if you haven't already. Lots of love, take care, and I shall see you all again in the next video. Bye bye.